Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. personified the gospel. His sister Naomi shares that when he was 26 years old, he was literally almost choked out by the police. But did he say hate them? No, he said the more that they hate us, we must love them. As a matter of fact, hear us interview now.
Charisma News is reporting, Stephen Strang, he had a chance to meet with Alveda King, which is the niece of Dr. King. And they were up in Georgia, and I guess they were having a meal. They went to some gardens, and who also came for the visit and the get together was Alveda King's mother, Naomi. And they get to start talking about Dr. King, and when you realize we've been talking about the Rules for Radical by Saul Alinsky, these 13 tactics that we'll give a shout out from Lucifer.
Yeah.
And listen, Dr. King would have never ever endorsed such evil.
He was with God. This book was being penned.
Yeah.
It was in 1971. He was with God in 1968.
Yeah, I mean, he'd never, but folks would have tried to associate. Dr. King would have never done this. Look at his life. Look at his own words. And people by their fruit.
Yes.
You know them by their fruit, but you not only know people by their fruit, you know people by the testimony of others. Listen, the testimony of others is so strong that sometimes they bring a character witness. Can someone here testify about this person's life? And they tell us. Well, Naomi talks about how in 1955, this is Alveda King's mother, and I believe she's a sister-in-law to Dr. King. Yeah. Oh,
wow.
And she's carried the mantle. I mean, have you ever heard, Pastor Alveda King share?
Yeah.
She's carried the mantle. I mean, she is a blessing.
I'm looking for the day to spend some time with her.
Yeah, no doubt. When Naomi shares how she was there at Dr. King's house, I didn't know. She said they call him ML at the time. I didn't know that's what they called him. In the family.
And they called his dad Daddy King.
Daddy King.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's there. It's 1955, and they had just given birth to their first daughter, Yolanda, and she's there to see the baby. She shares how Dr. King walks into the house, and you hear her share this in her own words. And what happened was he was roughed up by the police. The police had just brought him in, and they tried to strangle him with his own tie. Try to strangle him. She's saying this.
So this is Dr. King's sister or sister-in-law?
I believe his sister-in-law.
Okay.
And Dr. King's 26 years old at the time. 26 years old. And he doesn't look at her. He's facing the mantle. He knows she's in the room. And this is what Dr. King responded, 26 years old in 1955. He says, we need to pray for those that mistreat us. We need to pray for those who mistreat us.
Wow.
I want you to listen to her as she says, this is the wisdom. God's preparing this man. And at 26 years old, he says, the more they mistreat us and abuse us, the more we must love them and forgive them, because hatred is very much alive. This is Dr. King. Being choked out. When I think about him being choked out, I think about what they were doing at Wycliffe and Till. It's like just choking out anything that is the truth of God's word. And he's just saying, listen, I just want to do this by God and by the Constitution. Let's get this right. And how he demonstrated that and how he organized it wasn't through worldly principles. It wasn't through, force. It wasn't through threat. It was about walking the way that God would want us to walk. And we've talked about it often on VFN Radio about the 10 commitments, that a pledge card, that those that would join what he was doing, they would have to sign to it and say, listen, we're going to do it according to these 10 commitments. One of them is you had to spend time with God.
Right.
You had to spend time with God. I want you to listen to Naomi King, and you'll see her with her mother, Pastor Alveda King, as she shares about this account.
And for those watching on CTN, Christian Television Network, and WHBR and all, you're going to be able to see this as well. And you're also going to be able to see it on
the Torch, absolutely.
VFNtv.com.
Dr. King is the father of 4 children, and his firstborn was Yolanda Denise King, who's deceased now. And I was so happy when Yolanda was born on my birth date, which is November 17th, 1931, and Yolanda was November 17th, 1955. So I was just so happy that she was on my birthday. I went to Montgomery, Alabama, where they were living, at the time, just to see her and to welcome her, into the family and to show some love to Yolanda. It was one night about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the evening, and I was seated in the darkened living room of their home while Coretta was in the back attending to Yolanda. And so ML, as we called him at that time, came in, and when he came in, I was glad he couldn't see my face because I was sitting in the darkened living room, and the only light that shone into the room was from the street light that was coming in through the window. So when he came in, he went straight to his mantle, and my nickname at that time was Nene, and that's all that he ever called me was Nene. So he went straight to the mantle, and he put his hand up on the mantle, and he had his back somewhat towards me, and I was glad he couldn't see my face. So he said, "You know what, Nene?" I said, "No, ML, what?" He said, "I was detained at the police station, and at that time his shirt collar was open, and he was tugging at his throat with his finger doing his shirt collar like."
Naomi King is Dr. King's sister-in-law.
Okay.
And she's recounting a time that she went back to the home in 1955 in Montgomery.
And we're watching this, by the way, so
We're
you can
watching
see
this.
this on the VFN torch. You got to see. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. She's 81 years old. She's sharing about how in 1955 she was there at the home of Dr. King to experience they just had their firstborn, Yolanda, and that she wanted to see the baby. And just to give context, what was going on, of course, Dr. King was trying to stand for God, trying to stand for.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
yeah.
he did.
Right. Yeah.
Stand for God and to do things the right way. You can organize and do so many different tactics as we've found through Saul Alinsky and those 13 tactics. But that's not honoring the Lord.
Right.
Well, she's giving an account very early in his life, at 26 years old, 1955, about how Dr. King was detained by police.
He's choked. They grabbed his tie.
They grabbed his tie and tried strangling him.
But we need to get context too. A lot of this generation don't even know what a tie is. Possibly, if they do, they don't understand that they actually wrap the ties around your neck and you put it under your collar, and so you're basically walking around with a noose.
Sure.
From law enforcement days, that we had to put a clip-on tie on, because if you did get in a fight with someone, they would just immediately grab your tie and you've lost the fight. So they grab, and in other words, he's dressed up like a minister would be. Shirt and tie, and they grabbed that, the police, and choked him,
strangled him,
goodness.
as she says, and she's recounting the story. And this is 1955.
And so he's leaning against the fireplace in his own house.
Yeah.
And he's pulling his collar out like that. He's pulling his tie out the way you kind of loosen your shirt a little bit and all that.
Right. And he begins.
Because he's already left that incident.
He's left that incident. Okay. He's back in the house, and she's there sitting in the dark, I guess, maybe holding a baby. I'm not particularly sure. But she's there in the living room, and he doesn't even look at her. He's looking at the mantle in the house, and I'm
sure. I mean, your whole life just flashed
imagines
before
going,
you.
getting choked out.
It makes me think about Roy Middleton. I mean, how you feel. It's like, there's the whole world against me here.
Right. This is the authority here.
Yeah.
This is the authority, the highest authority.
That's exactly it.
And it's like, my goodness. And he tells her, he says, I was detained. Police just tried to strangle me. And so she's, oh my goodness, as anyone else would imagine, are you okay? And this is what Dr. King, this is how he responds. 26 years old. The more they mistreat us and abuse us, the more we must love them and forgive them, because hatred is very much alive. I want you to finish listening. We're going to play this for you. We're going to listen to Naomi King as she shares this account. It's like, my goodness.
She was there.
She was there.
Let's listen to her.
Open, and he was tugging at his throat with his finger doing his shirt collar like this. He said, I was detained at the police station, And you know what, Nina? I said, no, ML, what? He said, they tried to choke me to death with my own tie. And when he said that, tears came in my eyes. I said, what? He said, they tried to choke me to death with my own tie. And I said, at that point, I said, oh, ML, I said, I'm speechless. I just don't know. I just don't want to say that. He said, but you know what? He said, the more that they mistreat us and the more they abuse us, he said, that's the more that we've got to love them and forgive them, because hatred is very much alive and we've got to love them. And I said, oh, ML, and at that point I just couldn't control it. The tears just fell out from my face. And that was when I knew in my heart of hearts that he was destined to be the leader that he became because of his commitment and his love for God and his love for people. That is when I knew he was truly ready for the game, for the life that he would live. Now tell about the sweet potato pie. Okay.
That's how you know. That's how you know that you're ready, when you know it's all about God and it's all about other people. It's not your own agenda. It's not, it's about loving God, loving others. And Dr. King was also quoted as saying, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that.
And it makes sense. Now you have somebody who bears witness of his fruit, his sister-in-law, who was there at the moment, and that's who you really are. When everything comes against you unjustly, how you respond to being treated unjustly is who you really are.
That's right.
And he chose to respond like Christ. He understood. And the thing about it too is, remember that, do you want to win or not? I mean, you're not going to win if you fight darkness with darkness. You're on the same side.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood, and he understood that.
He understood how to win, to let the day organize him, let Jesus Christ organize him, and that was the only victory he was going to have in the context of that. And he was right. He was right. And all those haters and evil folks that were held captive by darkness, they were wrong.
That's right.
And many of them have repented today and have realized that they're no longer organized by the night, and some possibly still are, but many have not. They broke loose from the stronghold over this nation that was over the world. But he also said, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that, which is right in what you're talking about. And it's like, dear Lord, help us as the church, to be able to. That's why I'm saying this. He walked out. You understand? They got all these different nations and all these different countries. And you heard earlier, he said, if we were in China, it'd be different. But we're American. And this is what it's written on the paper in America. So okay, let's figure out how to be a Christian American then. And then he's a lawyer. He's read the Constitution. He's obviously a teacher of the Word of God. He's preaching the gospel about love. But his own dad, Daddy King, his message, I believe, the message reportedly that his own dad preached after his son gave his life for this cause was a message of forgiveness and love.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's a message. And this very book that he wrote it's about love, Daddy King. And I'm talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dad. I guess Ebenezer Church in Atlanta. And it's like, hello church, hello Christian Americans. We need to go and find out we need to listen to Pastor Avita King. We need to spend time with her. We need to get her teaching, what she's saying. You know what she's saying? She's saying her primary thing is that love, of course, but she's saying we've got to stop the bloodshed, the innocent bloodshed.
Yeah.
That is a key prerequisite for God to bless this nation. No matter what we do, no matter even how we feel like we're doing something good, if we sit silently by and allow this bloodshed to continue, which we call abortion, then it's not going to happen.
Thank you for watching VFNtv. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe.
A lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it.
You can request that plan today at iabide.org.
Don't forget you can join us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download our app and sign up for our newsletter, The Torch, at VFNtv.com.